This is Marcy Penner for Studio Calico, and today I'm going to be making a Canada themed layout. Here in Canada, we celebrate Canada Day on July the 1st, and this month in the Studio Calico shop, there is a variety of Canada themed items. So one of them was this journaling card set that I was lucky enough to design. So there's that. And then there's also a stamp and die set with a map of Canada. So keeping those items in mind, I thought I would make a layout. So I wanted to start by telling you what I have done so far, and we will carry on from there. So like I said, there's a card set and a stamp set, and while these are awesome, there are times when they will just not work. And the times that they will not work for me is when I love the item, but the size isn't going to work for what I have. So I began by printing off a version of the Canada map on one of the journaling cards. And so I went and I took the digital file from the Studio Calico shop and I enlarged it to fit the width of my paper. Now, unfortunately, I have two printers hooked up and it picked the wrong one and printed it out on copy paper, but I think it turned out fine, so I'm just going to use that version anyway. But I enlarged it so that it would cover the width of my page, which is 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to trim off this excess, and then I'm going to use this along the bottom. And then I thought what I would do is I would take various items that are Canada themed, and I would kind of cluster them over where the map would hit my paper. So I could use a few of the cards for that purpose, but I'm not going to be able to fit in very many. So I thought what I would do is I would also take the digital files for the cards and print them out smaller. So here I have some full size. I kept the Love the Leaf full size because I think I'm going to cut that out and layer that on. But then I took the True North Strong and Free and I reduced it in size. My feeling is that I can either just trim it as a rectangle or I could use it as a tag maybe. And then I also took the 4x6 Canada stamp and I reduced it in size. Now the fun thing with using the digital stamps for me in Photoshop is you won't be able to tell it quite clearly here, but I took the paintbrush tool from Photoshop and I colored in all the provinces with a very light gray or kind of a cream color. And then the province that we live in, I colored it a very muted red. So I'm going to cut this out as well, and now you can see that I'm going to be able to use some of these pieces on here and this Love the Leaf flag, and I'm going to have room to cluster and use them all. There's no way that I could have fit, even though I have a map here, and maybe 2 maps is a little excessive, but this wouldn't have worked in the size that it is. So the digital files for me for this layout are going to work out quite well, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this out and the Love the Leaf and these two. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to layer on my papers and maybe some other things and get this layout started. Okay, so I have my paper printed out and my 3 other elements cut out. I don't know that I'm going to use all of them, but we'll see. So I'm going to start by gluing down my main paper, which I trimmed a little bit too small, but I think it'll still work out. And I think what I'm going to do, just to ensure that I don't have any gaps, is I'm going to maybe mat a section here going across as well. So I'm going to take this graph paper from Crate Journey line, which was in the Galileo kits this month. And I'm going to, don't know that I'm going to run it the full width, but for now let's pretend that I am. Actually, I want these numbers on here, so I'm going to move this over a little bit. And I'm going to cut it about the full width, and then I can trim that down later if I need to. Okay, so I'm just going to play with my arrangements a little bit. And I pulled out some other items from the kits that might work. So I'm just going to take a peek to see what those are, if any of them will work well with what I'm doing, or maybe not. So I think I can use that forever and ever die cut. And I'm also going to try to use one of these tags, or tickets, pardon me. Maybe bring in some of the green. And I have some little yellow clips that I think I may either sneak on here, or I may take and use it over my photo. Actually, let's try that. And I might use my tiny attacher on the other one instead. Okay, so you can see I'm just kind of filling it up. And that's probably how it's going to go. I think I may leave this off, my little map. Actually, I might tuck it in there. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead, I think I actually like this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down these larger items, just so that they don't shift around too much. I use a repositionable adhesive, so if I do want to move them around, I certainly can still do so. But at least this way it gives me a little bit of security. Okay. So I'm going to take a look at some of my little letters and probably one of these wooden dots, but I'm going to put that on after I've sewn, just so that I don't get myself into any little kind of pickle just because I tried to work out of my normal order here. So I'm going to stick a little bit of this kind of glittery paper tape as well. And you can see that I'm not really going for a red and white theme. I thought it would be really awesome to have this card take up a whole chunk and then a photo and just have everything black and white except the card pop. And I still think that would be something really awesome. Red is tough for me to work with, so for this one I decided just to go a little bit more low-key. But I'm going to go ahead and do some sewing, and then I'm going to come back and add some little extra bits to go on top of my stitching. Okay, so I got all my stitching done. In addition to that, I also found a couple words on this little sticker sheet that would work. There's a few more that would have worked, but I grabbed the North America and the home one and stuck those on. And then I also added my journaling and stitched around that. So what I need to do is I need to get my tiny attacher to secure this one down. And in the meantime, I'm just going to curl these up a little bit. I'm also going to be stamping the date on this banner, so I will do that as well. And I'm going to go ahead now and I'm just going to add a few things that kind of fit the theme, or at least the colors, and that I was kind of scared I might sew over. So I'm going to take these buttons, which like to leave their adhesive behind, but I got it. And let's see, I kind of would like one there, but I think I'm going to stick it down here just to kind of secure all my elements there. And what I'll do is I'll maybe scatter a few of the enamel dots around as well. So let's grab, since we don't have a ton of the red, let's grab a red. Oops. I like to have my things kind of overlapping other elements a little bit, just so they don't look like they're kind of floating around there. And let's put a little yellow one here and maybe a bigger yellow one. Actually, if I put it over here, it kind of looks like this is being held down by a thumbtack, which is kind of cute. But I think I'm going to stick it here just to kind of get more going across the page visually. Okay, so like I said, I will grab my tiny attacher and staple that down. But I think for the most part, this page is finished. So again, a Canada themed page that really tried to stay away from the really stark or striking green. Okay, let's try that again. Staying away from the really bright red. But yeah, so this is that, and I hope that whether you are Canadian or not, it maybe gave you a little idea of a way to maybe tackle those national holidays in maybe a non-traditional color palette or a non-traditional way. And at the very least, maybe got you thinking about using the digital elements when size is a factor. And maybe you don't want a honkin' big maple leaf. Actually, it would have been really cute if I would have printed this off small and stuck it in with a little toothpick and made it a little flag. So thinking outside the box, check out that digital shop. A lot of your favorite elements are in there. And thank you for watching, and have a good week.